All right.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, thank you guys for coming out. My name is Sky Hyacinth. I'm originally from New York City, the Bronx. Played college ball at University of Connecticut. Part of the championship team back in 2004 with guys like Emeka Okafor, Ben Gordon, Rudy Gay. So I've been doing this for 15 years now. So I've not only started training young kids, but also have worked with top Division I players, pros. So it's been a long road, but really have helped a lot of different people figure out why they love the sport and how we can help them get better at it. And so the first thing I want to talk about is really the mindset of basketball. The first thing I know people think about is, winning and scoring and all those types of things, but especially for the kids that are just learning the game and just starting to appreciate the game, we want to make sure that we hold that love affair all the way through, because one of the biggest things for us, especially with the girls, I don't know if anybody's coaching girls, but one of the biggest things for girls is they don't continue to play basketball after 12 or 13. And so we want to make sure that we keep the fire ignited, and we want to make sure kids continue to love the game. And so the first thing we want to talk about is confidence. How do we breathe confidence into these kids? We want to first always teach them those small details, but pay attention to them as they're accomplishing those small details. So if you tell a child, hey, I need you to run down court and set up on the block, when they do that, compliment them. So those small things will allow them to feel better about themselves, because whether Charlie or Susie makes the shot, you notice that Billy ran to the spot you asked him to. So saying, hey, Billy, I see you getting to the block. Good job. You didn't even get the ball, but the fact that the coach acknowledged him doing what you asked him to do says, okay, next time I'm going to run to the block again. So those small things, whether it's a kid boxing out, whether they get the rebound or not, you recognize them boxing out and you acknowledging it will, again, help them with their confidence. And especially when we have kids that are just, one, learning the game, and two, may not be as talented as the next, those small words and those small encouragements can have them wanting to come back to practice or wanting to do the sport again. One of the things for you guys, you got to understand, you're the key holder to these kids wanting to play the sport the following year. George was telling me that they've grown every year for the past 4 years, and so that's a testament to the organization, that's a testament to the coaches, because it's making the kids feel like, one, I enjoyed myself, two, I got better, and three, I want to continue to play this sport. So if you see a decline in numbers, a lot of times, with all due respect, it has something to do with the coaches. Because, okay, only Billy gets to bring the ball up. Only Billy shoots. So now everybody's like, well, I don't want to play this sport. I'd rather go play soccer or baseball or whatever else. And now basketball continues to dwindle. Obviously, I'm biased, so I want to make sure that we continue to grow the game of basketball. So that's why I'm always talking about making sure that the kid that's on the bench, the very last kid on the bench, gets even more attention than the star. Because whether it's the parents, whether it's the concession person, whether it's the opposite coach, they're going to give the star attention. But the kid at the end of the bench, who if he doesn't come to practice, you may be happy, But that kid is the person that we want to make sure we reach the most. Because one thing we don't want is for them to not feel love in the gym and go try to find love outside. So if you're a child that's maybe not that talented, but you feel like your coach has your back, you feel like your coach is seeing something in you, maybe it keeps you from going out into the streets. Like I said before, I'm from New York, I'm from the Bronx, so I saw a lot of talented kids and a lot of people that weren't so talented go into the direction of the streets, because that's where they felt love. That's where they saw they got attention. That's where people respected them. So always making sure that you have an opportunity to show the kid that may not be the most talented, but something that they can feel like, okay, I want to come back the next time they have practice. Is there any situations that you guys have come across with coaching kids, young kids, older kids, that you feel like, one, you didn't know how to handle, or two, you wish you would have focused on that a little bit more? Like I said, I want to make sure this is an interactive thing, not just me kind of doing a lecture style. The reason why I ask that is because a lot of times, a kid may not know how to do something and you don't know how to teach them, especially you saying you're not very familiar with basketball in terms of the techniques and things of that nature. You being able to reach that kid can boil over to frustration. Like, I told you to do X. And because, again, you're the adult and you don't know how to articulate what you want them to actually do the right way, now you're frustrated with them because they can't accomplish the goal. So just thinking through that's where I'm at. So thinking through like what is something that like, well, I wish I really knew how to teach them how to make a layup, or I really wish I knew how to teach them how to run this play, or how do I articulate it better. So, think through that as we move forward. And lastly, I think the biggest thing is we want to have fun. So making the game fun. A lot of times I know we have a scarce amount of time for practice, but finding a way to have fun with them. One of the games that we play a lot at our training facility just to have fun with them is it's called Sharks and Medals, right? And so you have a group of kids lined up on the sideline or baseline, and they have the ball, and you have 2 or 3 kids that don't have the ball. And so they have to try to get the ball from the kids that do have the ball before they get to the other side. And so now they're working on their ball handling skills, they're working on communication, they're having fun, and they're working on being elusive with the ball. Right. So you're still working on skill development, but you're making it a fun game that the kids will enjoy at the end of practice. Last 10 minutes, okay guys, Sharks and Minnows, and it's just a lot of fun. So just small things like that to teach them that one, we can get better while having fun. Another thing that we try to do over at our program is to always recognize kids for doing the right things, whether it's picking up a teammate on the floor, whether a kid is struggling to do their sprint and the kid goes behind them and try to push them along, or just encourages them verbally. We do something called the red jersey. It's in there as well, and the red jersey is just something that for that practice. It could be a blue jersey, it could be a little penny, whatever it could be, but just something, okay, because you did so well today, Charlie, you get the red jersey next practice. That means you lead us in our stretching, that means you lead us in our cheers, that means you lead us in our whatever we're doing that day, you're the captain. So now I want to win the red jersey, and if you want to go a step further, maybe you keep track, and at the end of the season, Charlie won 7 red jerseys. Guess what, Charlie? Here's a $10 gift card to, Chick-fil-A or Popeyes or whatever the case is.
A reward.
Huh?
Yeah, a reward. Right.
Exactly. So now they're like, I want to have Coach George, because I get the red jersey, I get a prize at the end. So like those small things, now it goes around the community. Like, oh yeah, you want to be on Coach George's team. Right. Those small things make a big difference. So just thinking through small nuances, ways, and ways that you can reach the kids and have them want to come to practice and work hard for you. Because it's not always about the score. Like I said, I played basketball all my life and, accomplished a lot of good and fun things, but I don't remember the scores.
Yeah.
I don't. I remember the bus rides, I remember the plane rides, I remember the hotels, I remember the practices, the jokes in the locker room, I remember whatever it is. I don't remember the scores. So I know we're working out, trying to get championships. I know we're trying to get, first place, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, the kids are really going to have more fun in the long run if they had a good experience. And so that's what we want to make sure that the kids are provided, which is a good experience. So now, moving on. Any questions or thoughts, ideas?
I tell every coach, anybody can coach a good kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A good coach makes a mediocre kid good.
Yep.
It makes a weak kid mediocre.
Yep.
So if he's better by the end of the season than when he was when he started, as a coach, you did your job.
Yep.
Right.
And then I did a lot of like 8, 9, and 10-year-old kids. And during the course of the season, there was a couple teams that we controlled. We could handle. All right, guys, who never scored yet this year?
Right.
Oh, I never. All right, let's feed Johnny or feed Steve. And Steve would get his first basket.
Right.
And guess what? He had a smile from ear to ear. He made his season. He's under there scrapping, and he might not be the best kid.
Yeah.
But he's a part of our team.
Yeah.
He's our team.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's just little things I used to do back in the day.
Yeah, and that's something we've done too in the past. Like if a kid, you're going up against a team you're going to beat, no question about it.
Right.
One of the weaker kids, a couple of them, you start today. It's not gonna hurt.
Right. Right.
You three, you start. Whether at the end of the first quarter 0-0 or 2-4 or whatever the score is, you'll put your dogs in and the game will be over.
Right.
So
I had 2 offensive guards. Y'all bring the ball down court.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you what, the whole court shook. Boom, boom. But they might not never do that.
Exactly.
You know, but they got that opportunity.
100% good.
You know.
So that leads right into what we want to talk about. One of the biggest things for me, and again, I've been doing this for a long time. It doesn't matter how great of a coach you are. It doesn't matter. And we're watching it right now with Steve Kerr. It doesn't matter how great of a coach you are. If you do not have skill development, meaning you can't help your team get better in terms of their skills, it doesn't matter. You can draw up the best play. If they can't make the shot or dribble the ball, all that is for nothing. And so, for me, I really want to focus on skill development. That's part of what we do. That's part of our DNA. Because at the end of the day, if your child or your teammate or your team can dribble the ball or shoot or score, whether you're a good coach or a bad coach, they're going to fix those issues for you. You know, so skill development. So one of the things for me, I want to show you guys. You guys can definitely chime in terms of questions, specific things that you want to learn about. So one of the things we'll start off is ball handling, right? And so for us, we always teach, make sure you get in your athletic stance. You always want to lean towards the side you're dribbling. So you want to lean and make sure that the ball is outside your toes. Because think about it, you never dribble like this, do you? No. You never dribble like that. So when you dribble, it's always outside your toes. So train that.
Right.
So we train them outside your toes. So everything we do, outside our toes. Outside our toes. Outside our toes. So that's the first thing as you're, especially with the young group, you want to make sure that they start learning those small details. We don't want to dribble between the legs, always outside your toes. Okay, so thinking about skill development as part of your practice, like I'm not sure how long you guys have, but if it's an hour, I would say at least 20 minutes, 25 minutes working on skill development, helping them get better. If you're, and especially for the younger teams, the team that makes the most layups wins. The team that makes the most layups wins.
Right.
I've coached travel basketball and everything, and our girls team was ranked 10th in the nation. We have girls that went off to Kansas, Florida State. 2 are at Tulane right now. One of them is at Grambling. So we had top level players, and we played against top level players. And our rule was like, let them shoot threes. Go ahead. The team that makes the most layups wins the game. So especially in the young group, try to focus as much as you can on skill development, especially the layups. And we'll go right into it now in terms of teaching how to properly do it. And you saw this last year, and we'll continue it again. One of the things that we mentioned is called outside-inside. So we don't want to confuse kids by saying left or right-left, and then they get over on this side.
And then they go to do the same thing.
Left-right.
Right.
Because now I confuse myself, and I'm speaking, and I know this.
Right.
And so what we teach is this is the rim, so everything that's closest to the rim is called inside. So if my hand is closest to the rim, that's my inside hand. So the leg that's closest to the rim right now is the left foot, so that's my inside foot. So what we teach is outside, because that's the one furthest from the rim, outside foot, inside foot. And so when you're first teaching a young kid, what you want to do, you want to have that inside foot back, and you want to have a step and push up. Inside foot back, step, and push up. And as they get a little bit better, you want to have them go outside foot back, outside, inside, split. And so that's one of the biggest things. And it's the same thing on this side. So here, my inside foot happens to be my right foot. My outside foot is my left foot. So I'm here, inside foot back, inside, so on and so forth. And as they get better, outside foot, outside, inside,
Finish.
right? And so when you have those small teaching tidbits, it helps not only the kids get better, but it also makes sure that you guys don't confuse yourselves. Because you're like, no, it's right foot, no, it's left foot. So outside, inside just makes it a lot easier to make sure that the kids understand what you're trying to convey, and they don't get and they can have some success. Any questions about some of this that we're going on?
No, that's what I've been working with my kids on. And at first they were kind of quizzical, like, what do you mean outside foot?
Yeah.
And I had to explain them the same way.
Yeah.
The inside foot is the foot closest to the rim. The outside, inside, finish.
Yep.
Outside, inside, finish. Over and over again.
Yeah.
And they starting to catch on.
Yeah, no, 100%. We have 3-year-olds that we work from 3-year-olds all the way to the pro level. And we're teaching our 3-year-olds outside, inside.
Right.
And so they're learning that. So one thing that if you want to use to help them understand a little bit better is small hula hoops or small like placemat type thing.
I got you.
You put a blue and a red. So you'll say outside foot blue, inside foot red. So now you may not even have to say outside inside. You say blue red.
Right.
Blue red.
They can visually see it.
And
I
now
got you.
it's a lot easier for them. So that's one thing that we've been doing over the past year that we found out from a clinic that we went to out in Chicago, and they showed us that small little nuance. Like, okay, well, it makes it a lot easier for us to teach it because they visualize, they see it, and it's a lot easier for them to have success.
Right. And see, that's kind of how I am as a coach, because I remember when I played like in middle school ball, you know, my coach would be like, oh, go down on the block. You know, this is how you box out.
Yeah.
Get your hands up, this and that. But when we would go run a set play, I had no clue where I was supposed to be because I couldn't visualize it because I was just where I was and I didn't know where exactly. Okay, I know I'm supposed to run over here, but how is this one supposed to come down? How's that supposed to look?
Yep.
So I'm a very visual person. So that's the same way with this. You know, I use that as a tool for myself to visually go back and look at stuff and say, all right, well, I could tweak this. Oh, I can tweak that. How could I get them to grasp that concept a little bit better?
Yep.
You know?
A lot better and quicker. So, like I said, those placemats have really helped us. We say blue, red, and they're right on.
That's awesome.
A lot easier for us.
I think the biggest thing I've seen with Sky and them from last year, when they had the kids clinic to today, just now. When I was a kid, you did your left hand layup, you was back here. Y'all breaking it down to a step or two.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you're starting off there and
exactly.
Get the right motions going, you know, and
right.
To me that makes a tremendous amount of sense.
Yeah, and then one thing to add to that, if you have them shooting the layup, have it on their shoulder, and that will be, I always call it like it's almost like they're holding onto a tray. And so
gotcha, like a serving tray.
Yep, so that way they can use all of these muscles, so it's like outside, inside, push.
Well, that was going to be my next question because like with some of the 7/8s, I know they're a little bit bigger. The ball size is the same, but their hand gets a little bit bigger, so it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But at 5 and 6, they can barely even get their hand on the ball, much less. So they don't really feel comfortable with going like for a scoop layup. They just, like I said, well, I was telling you before, they just mostly want to spot up with both hands and go for the shot over the top. You know.
So if you put it right here on your shoulder,
like that,
you get a chance to really use all those muscles. Okay, and so the next thing I want to focus on, which is actually my specialty, which is shooting. All right. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to increase the shooting capability of your kids, but you want to break it down to as simple as possible. The thing you don't want is to be convoluted with your information. Too many steps. I explained that to you earlier. You do not want a lot of different steps. And so what we've done is one thing, even with those placemats, because you want to have your feet shoulder width apart. But what child knows their shoulder width apart?
Right.
Like this?
Yeah.
Like this. So if you have those small hula hoops or those placemats, you can just say, put your feet on the edge of those placemats. So that means your right foot's on here, left foot's here, so on the end. So now they at least have some semblance of knowing what shoulder width apart is. If they're a right foot player, I'll step back just really quick. If they're a right-handed player, you want to have their right foot squarely on the line. Okay? And then their other foot, actually you have to be a little bit staggered to be easy, believe it or not. Your left foot should be right behind your line. You guys see that? So you want to have the placemat right about here. So you have, if they're a right-handed shooter, their foot squarely on the line and their left foot slightly behind the line. That's where you get your balance. You would think being even would get you balance, but it's actually not. You have to be a little bit off. All right? And then the same thing goes if you're a left-handed shooter, left foot squarely on the line, right foot right. So again, another visual cue to help them understand how their feet should be and for you guys to understand how your feet should be when you're teaching. So once we do that, as a right-handed shooter, so what I like to call, and this was taught to me by Riess. He would come back to UConn and just work on shooting with us and just be in the gym. So he would call it L1 and L2. But for kids younger than 15, we don't teach them L2. So L2 is how most adults in high school and NBA, high school and college NBA players, they'll get them here. So if you see, this looks like an L.
Right.
So this is L2. So what we teach them first is L1. So my hand looks like an L. My arm looks like an L, and this looks like an L. So you want to make sure that they have their wrist cocked back so they're ready to catch the ball. So you don't want to catch the ball like this. You want to catch the ball. I'm already in shooting posture. I'm already in shooting position.
Right.
As soon as I'm ready to catch the ball, I'm already in shooting. I have nothing else to do now. At this point, there's nothing for me to do. You see my hand. If I'm here, that's 7 steps already. I ain't even start to shoot yet. So if we can get them to learn L1, it's already right there. So right here, so we have an L1. This hand, your offhand is here, nice and flat. Your right hand or your shooting hand is a target. We always say, give me a target. So here's my target. This is my catches. My catches. So I'm here. I'm ready for the ball, coach. Whenever they give it to me, I'm ready to shoot. So that's my pocket. That's my shooting pocket. That's my show for the ball. All of them. So L1. So as you can see here. All right. So once we get that, you want to have them sit in this position for about a minute or two, just so their muscle can start building that memory. So you want to just have them sit in this position for as long as they can. As long as I'm bent, I'm ready, I'm low. I'm not sitting straight up like this. I want to be in athletic position. My feet are in that placemat. Got my feet staggered a little bit. I'm here, coach. And you have them sit there for about a minute. Let them rest, relax, shake out their arms, come right back to it. Just building that muscle memory. All right, building that muscle memory. So you do that for a minute or two again. Then we want to actually have them learn the next piece, which is going to go straight up. So for kids younger than 15, L1, straight up. So you want your elbow to your hairline, because people don't understand the way you get mark on your shot. People will say, shoot it higher. I want you to explain to me how to shoot it higher. I get you what the final destination, what the final situation is, which is shoot it higher. But how do I get there?
Right.
No one knows. No one knows. But how you do that is elbow to hairline, because that automatically gets you the arc that you need. Because you'll see some players, they'll shoot like this, and if you see, that's going to be a line drive shot. Even if you don't know much about basketball, me doing this looks like a line drive shot. But by me doing this looks like it should have some arrow.
Right.
So to get arc, if you see anybody, especially, and you want to have really quick cues for your kids. L1, elbow above your hairline. That takes a split second. You can do that from the bench in a game. Hey, Charlie, elbow above your hairline next time.
Right.
Okay, coach. I know what you're talking about.
Whole lot better than shoot higher.
All right.
I've caught myself doing that.
Yeah.
I've caught myself doing that for sure.
Yeah.
Especially little kids with 3-point shots, because they pushing it like that.
Yeah.
You know, they just trying to get as much distance as they can.
Shoot it higher.
Yeah.
Good job, coach.
The two things I yell at my son: more spin, more arc.
So we'll get to that as well. So you want to go from L1 all the way up. Now you always want to make sure that their fingers are pointing down to the floor. So if you have younger kids, I always say, go get that cookie. I'm in the cookie jar trying to get that cookie.
I got you.
Get that cookie in that cookie jar. If they're a little bit older, a little bit more mature, fingers down to the floor. And if it's a girl, what I always used to do, especially a little bit older girls, I would say, show off those nails. You know, like, hey, you just got your nails done, show them off.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I've worked with high school girls and stuff, and they'd have their nails nice and pretty. Show it off. So that was just little ways I would connect with the kids and making sure that I'm getting to them at their level.
Yeah.
So 6, 7-year-olds, we'll get that cookie. So I had one kid last week, he was like, how do I get the cookie though? I was like, you got to use your imagination. Imagine what? I was like, it's in your brain. You're imagining getting the cookie. But I want the cookie. So you may have one of those kids, but again, it's a lot of fun. But he does it though.
Right.
I'm like, go get the cookie. But how do you get the cookie? You got the cookie because you made the basket. So whenever they make the basket, I always say, you got the cookie. Good job. They flick the wrist down, all the way down. So it's L1 all the way up, elbow on the hairline, fingers pointing down to the floor. L1 all the way up, fingers down to the floor. So how we do it, we do not touch a basketball. All this is without a basketball. Because what you're doing is building the muscle memory. Adding the basketball will just mess them all up. So you want to do this for about 10 minutes, to be honest with you. So So I'm here. So I use a whistle. So they're relaxed. Woo! Woo! And relax. So they have to hold their follow through for 2 seconds.
Okay.
So they're here. Woo! Woo! Hold it for 2 seconds, then relax. I blow the whistle again. They come back. Hold it for 2 seconds. And relax. So we do that for about 10 minutes. After about 10 minutes, I feel like they're ready to graduate to the next step, which is when we grab the ball. So can anybody tell me how to ensure that the ball goes straight?
Assume like a baseball, you have to.
I don't.
Make sure you
When I
point
tell my
to it.
son, point your fingers
Right.
towards the rim
Yeah.
as it's coming off of your fingertips.
That's good. So but the way to make sure that the ball goes straight is to, one, make sure your hand is in the middle of the ball. So if my hand is on the side of the ball, it's going to be very hard for me to make the ball go straight because it's going to spin upward. But see this little hole right here,
Mm-hmm.
the air hole,
Mhm.
is actually smack down in the middle of the ball. So what I tell them is the index finger, and I'll show you guys. If I'm standing here, right, and I point the index finger, where does it point to?
Point at the rim.
Where in the rim? It's in the middle of the rim. You guys see that?
I got you.
So now, if I use my middle finger, where does it point to?
Looks like it's a little below.
No, it's
Front of the rim.
side. You see that? Let's get right behind me. You'll see.
Front of the rim.
So it's to the side of the rim, right? So. You see it now? So
I got what you're saying. It's more off to the right hand side of
front of the
center.
rim.
So now
Right.
it comes off my ring finger or pinky. So basically,
I got
to
it.
make sure the ball goes straight, this is the last finger that touches the ball.
Kind of like with football.
Yes.
Gotcha.
This is the last finger that touches the ball. And to make sure that it is the last finger, you put it right on that air hole. Put it
Okay.
right on that air hole every single time. Put the ball right in the air hole, and then the offhand is now on the side of the ball where you see these grooves. You see these grooves? They're there for a reason.
I never knew that.
So all the grooves fit your hand perfectly. So you put your hand right on the side. Because what kids will do is they'll put their hand right here.
Yeah,
Right?
that's why they overspin the ball and.
No, like if
Oh,
right
I got
now-
what you're saying to hold it.
So right now, I'm actually being counterintuitive because I'm pushing against myself. So I'm trying to push, but my hand is impediment. So if my hand's on the side, I no longer have an impediment. All right. So we want to make sure that their hand placement. So what we do, go back to the line, hand placement. Fidget around. L1, all the way up. Flick your wrist. Once the ball hits the ground, that's 2 seconds. You go get it. Hand placement, feet placement. So those are my cues for them. Hands placement. So they're fidgeting around, getting their hands proper. Feet placement, making sure their feet are right. Woo! Woo! And then we go get it. So we do that for about 20 minutes. All right, but again, I'm in the business of skill development. That's what my focus is. So you bring your child to me, I help them get better. They go on their team, they look like a star. So that's kind of how it works. You're trying to help them get better, but also get them prepared for a game.
Right.
So that's why it all depends. But if it's something that you really want to help your kids get better at, it really does take a lot of time. Just like school, I tell people all the time, the biggest thing for me with parents and coaches, especially on the younger level, parents expect the kids to do well in school, right? And when they take tests, what's the first thing the parents say? Did you study? Right? Did you do your homework? So the basketball game, that's the test. The skill development is your homework and your study. So if I make 1,000 layups, when I get in a game and I get 4 chances to make a layup, most likely I'm going to make those 4 layups.
Right.
But if I don't take any layups and I get 4 chances of making a layup in a game, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to miss. Just like in school. If I see 2 times 2 equals 4 all week, and I've been doing it all week, 2 times 2 equals 4, 2 times 2 equals 4, and I take my test and I see 2 times 2 equals 4, I'm pretty assured I'm going to get that right.
Right.
And so skill development and winning games and being better are hand in hand. But a lot of parents, a lot of coaches really focus on, let me diagram a really good play. you're not preparing them for the test. They didn't study, so they're going to continue to fail. And so for me, we take time to really focus on those small details, like I laid out, you know, from L1 to the finger being on the hole, hand placement right here, elbow to the hairline. So all those things, and the last finger being touched is the index. And so as we've had kids go from barely able to shoot it within that hour that we have them, being able to really make shots. Even if it's a standstill shot, the form is there, we're building their muscle memory, it's those simple things, but showing them those cues, foot placement, hand placement, L1, all the way up, flick the wrist down, this, and you always want to have positive reinforcement, also a lot of feedback. If Charlie didn't do it one time, I don't care if he did it 50 times perfectly in a row, you didn't hold your wrist that time. Hold him accountable.
Right.
That Furry does it 1,000 out of 1,000 times. That's why he's the best shooter. He doesn't do it 999 out of 1,000. He does it 1,000 out of 1,000. So if we want our kids to be good or get better or improve, we do it 50 times. Let's do it correct 50. And you don't have to chastise them, but it's like, no, I'm holding you accountable. You know, like all the kids I work with, they respect me because they know I'm going to hold them accountable. I don't say, come on, Jimmy, I told you 1,000 times. Come on, baby, you got it. Hold that fossil for me. You got it. Positive reinforcement, but still holding them accountable. Anything that I've gone over, any direct questions, especially for your team, you know, I want you guys to ask me questions about what skills you want to help them learn or get better at. Like, you know, we talked about ball handling, we talked about layups, we talked about shooting. What else is there that you guys?
My biggest thing was the chest pass and the bounce pass.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That is a very good point.
You know, you want a stiff pass, chest to chest.
Yeah.
Bounce pass, and you're going up and down the court.
Well, and the other part of that too is what I'm trying to get them to understand, and if you have maybe a better tip for it, is when they're going for the bounce pass, they're going for the chest pass, is understanding there's going to be a defender there. So in practice, like a lot of times you see them warm up and they just bounce passes to each other right here. But trying to get them to understand to step out and then make a pass.
So
step out and pass.
One of the drills we would use is called monkey in the middle.
I got you.
So we have two offensive players, one defensive player in the middle, and now the defensive player's job is to try to get the ball. So after we've done the rudimentary chest pass and bounce pass, we've done that for a couple weeks in practice. Now, okay, Jimmy, you're in the middle, you're playing defense, don't let him get the ball. So it's bounce pass or pump fake, down, fake down, up, like whatever it is. So now you can get a little bit more creative with it. And one of the things that we do a lot is them learning how to do it on the move. So by them dribbling around the cone, coming around, bounce passing it to a teammate, and that person goes around the cone, bounce passes to a teammate, teaching them how to do it on the move, and changing directions, which is something that's really big. That can help them as well. So that would be something in terms of passing, having them always doing it on the move. And it's best if it's not going in a linear line, because basketball is not straight forward. It's zigzags and cuts and moves. Right. So you want to have them, even if it's teaching them to go from here, and then pass. Like just be on the move. It doesn't have to be anything extravagant. Just them moving laterally or side to side, and then quick bounce back. That'll help.
I used to tell them, you know, if somebody's right in front of you, like, I'm a pass to Dave.
Right.
Dave, you got to break in front of him, Dave. Get in front of him. I'll get it to you, and then I'm a break. You can feed it right back to me.
Right.
You know,
into like
don't
a
stay there and wave, but if I got somebody right in front of you, I'm going to get you the ball.
Yeah, and that could be for as you start working on your plays, but in a scenario where I can't cut back because I'm on the other side, just having them learn how to pump fake and bounce pass and all that type of stuff. So if you do have a give and go offense, or if you work on those types of things, that's when you need to
break from one side to the other. Don't just stand there and just throw me the ball, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Break one way or the other, and I can feed it to you.
So those are the things. Anything? I know you said you're good. I'm doing a good job of explaining everything. Okay, good.
Taking my notes.
Yeah.
So we have one of the drills that I like to do for ball handling, I'll show it to you guys. It's called a 10-10 system. And again, you're working with 14-year-olds, you're working on 6-year-olds.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah. So you can kind of alter it to your need. But for example, you have right hand first to the ankles 10, to the knees 10, to the shoulders 10. Then you come out to the left hand, ankles 10, knees 10, shoulders 10. And again, ankles quick, knees, shoulders.
Gotcha.
Again, this may be a little bit for your group. I wouldn't go any further for your group.
Yeah.
Here, so between quick 10, middle 10, shoulder 10, and then same thing here, quick 10, middle 10, high 10, and then behind the back, quick 10, mid 10, and high 10. Alright, so you do that for about 3-4 minutes, and they'll be dripping wet, and that could be a warm-up for the practice. So like those small types of things, and again, you doing that, your team is now able to dribble the best again, strong, crosses, strong, and that's all you need at your level.
Right.
And the biggest thing what Sky's doing, he's not looking at the ball.
Right.
I mean, look, in the beginning they're gonna look at the ball.
Yeah, of course.
But as you feel a little more, all right, not do it without looking at it.
Well, right, and that's how I tell them too. It's like, hey, look, don't be afraid to look at the ball to start. But once you get used to it, start trying to pick your eyes up. Start looking at coach. Look at coach.
And
You know.
numbers, like you mentioned,
Right.
Like we did.
Yeah, I got that from last year. Yep.
Exactly. So just putting those numbers up, making them scream it out for them. And another thing that always helps is because we're competitive individuals. So we partner up. So now, who's going to the ball for? I got to look at my partner. I got to look at my partner. I can't look down at the ball. I got to keep looking at my partner.
I gotcha.
Like that.
Yeah. That's good.
So you would want to partner up your strongest with your strongest, your weakest with your weakest. So it just makes a lot more sense. So if Timmy can't really dribble the ball and Johnny's a superstar, like Timmy continuously losing the ball is going to make Johnny like he's just going to he's going to lose interest. So, but if you got somebody that's competing with you and you're like, oh wow, Johnny's really good, I got to keep up with him. It just makes it more competitive.
Competition makes each other better.
That's
Exactly.
it.
So that's that. So that's really where we are with the skills. Because I didn't want to just kind of ramble on. Is there anything in terms of plays that you guys are looking to learn, or anything additional that we need to go over, whether it's out of bounds plays or anything like that you guys feel like you need? Have questions about?
I don't. Honestly, at that point, I mean, we have to play zone, but all I've been telling them, like at our last practice, is I clearly defined areas on the floor where I want them to be, because I tried to explain to them, like, look, hey, y'all look at me on the court over there. Coach in the game is going to be way over here trying to talk to you. Okay, so sometimes you're not going to be able to hear me very well. So when I speak, you got to know, hey, Johnny, go to the block.
Yeah.
You know where you're going.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing, was I was trying to define where they need to be. But then the other part, the hardest part is getting them to understand, all right, he's taking the ball from the top. You're on him right now. But if he moves to the bottom, you're not going to stay with him. Somebody else is going to slide over.
Exactly.
You know, that's
so you're talking about more so zone defense.
yes, zone defense.
And
Yeah.
I think, Dave, something for you, 13 and 14s, I hate to say it, I had to show our 11 and 12-year-old coach, all-star coach. After I made basket, when you go to take the ball out, you can run up and down the sideline, under the court.
Mm-hmm.
You can also have, and y'all pressing 13 and 14. Somebody can break out of bounds, and you can feed them and then break inbounds.
Yeah.
Can we show you?
Uh-oh.
That's somebody doing it. I can't. And then I'm cutting in front of my defensive guy. I'm not going behind them. I'm cutting in front of them.
I gotcha.
Just to get it in, you only got 5 seconds.
I gotcha. Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah, you can.
After the basket's made, the official hands you the ball, you can't move.
I gotcha.
You know.
Because you're not clearly defining who's going to bring the ball in.
You just grab it, you get out of bounds.
No, even if the ref gives you the ball, because as long as the basket's
Well,
made.
it's made. But a lot of times, I don't want to do it on the sideline. The ball.
Oh, yeah, not on the sideline, but as long as it's
Right.
under the basket and the basket is made.
Made.
As long as it's right after the basket's made, you're able to run the baseline, you're able to pass it to another person, they step in. So as long as the basket is made.
Because like a lot of times, if I jump out here, the official will get it.
Yeah. But at that point, even so, again, you can do it. Yeah. The official handing it to you doesn't negate the fact that the basket is made.
I got it. I never knew that.
Up and down, out of bounds. And then if you're in trouble, you scream anything, help! When all of a sudden I tell somebody they jump out of bounds, but they got to be completely out of bounds. And you can't bounce pass it.
Yep.
You got to pass it, chest pass it.
Gotcha.
And then I tell the guy that threw the ball, don't go behind you, man. Cut in front of him, and then you feed it right back to him. Because the defensive guy's going to look at the guy when he run out of bounds like he's crazy. It's just the way they get the ball.
Most people don't know that. So it's up to you guys now in terms of if there's any specific to your teams or anything else that you guys want to know. But those are the things that I would say. What we can also offer to come to each of your teams and do a free skill session for you guys.
Oh, that'd be
You have
awesome.
to, learn all this stuff. You guys can say, hey, we want to focus on, passing the ball. We really struggle making some passes. Like we work with schools, we work with varsity teams, we work with junior high teams, and this past week we worked with a school out in New Orleans, obviously, Sacred Heart, and they had a lot of trouble. And their varsity school team had a lot of trouble beating a 1-2-2 press. So we really just worked on them learning how to cut properly, get in front of the right person, and passing it to the right person as well. So if you guys are interested, we can come out to your practice time and do however long, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour that you'd like us to do it.